We're back. It's been a long while since we talked about Dritz, and only the two of us here, but it's okay. Only two people. We can bounce our comments from each other. Hence why I asked for one other person for this shindig. Unfortunately, we couldn't get more people, but hey, what you gonna do? Let's just get into this.
Technically in a life or death situation, and the scene was made out so that Sanji could maybe have a shining moment. And you'd expect him to have more in his bag coming out of the time skip than just Skywalk. From a writing perspective, you obviously don't want Sanji to look better than Dofi because Dofi is the main antagonist, and would undermine the entire arc if Sanji beat Dofi there on the spot, right? But there are so many different ways to have Sanji be strong enough to divert or put up some semblance of a fight against Dofi until Law tags into the fight, without making Sanji look like garbage. Sanji can still get messed up in the process to make Dofi look good, but then make Sanji look good as well, and that way everyone wins. Instead, Sanji gets back down in the post and Oda makes Dofi look like prime Shaq at Sanji's expense. What matters here is the way things look. You could look at numerous points in the
I mean, he did get sauced on, but why should he look good? There's a
Larry, you watching the video right now? The stream you didn't start streaming.
I thought so. What? It deleted? Whatever. I even said I started recording, and you didn't say anything about that.
Recording doesn't mean the stream. I thought you were gonna start recording and then put the stream up.
Well, you know what? Why didn't I even say that? Why did I even say that? At any rate, I'll just rewind it.
And Oda makes Dofi look like prime Shaq at Sanji's expense. What matters here is the way things look. You could look at numerous points in the
Right, and like I said, he may not look good, but he did what he accomplished, and I think that's the important part, right?
Yeah, no matter how it looks, what actually happened is what actually happened. It's like everyone who says, "Oh, well, this is bad because it was a missed opportunity." It being a missed opportunity doesn't make it bad because you have to look at what actually happened, not what could have happened, not what you wanted to happen.
And
So even if you think it makes Sanji look uncool, that's just what you think.
And he was saving his crew, and Namek just left. So I don't see how this is even a bad phase. It just was very one-sided. So I don't really understand why he wants so much.
time skip for examples of better methods of
wait. Yeah, I understand why he wants so much. He doesn't like what he has. So, well, what he has is bad. Because if it's not what he likes, then it's bad.
You could look at numerous points in the pre-time skip for examples of better methods of utilizing Sanji's character in the same manner that Oda tried to here. As a matter of fact, many people's favorite Sanji scene is a scene where Sanji gets absolutely shit on by Enel. Enel is such a ridiculously strong character at that point in time in Skypiea, but Oda manages to make the highlight of that scene of Sanji being defeated to be that Sanji is awesome. And at the same time, Enel looks good because he defeats Sanji. Oda didn't compromise either character unjustly.
Now, that didn't happen here, nor in Dressrosa, considering he saved his crew and destroyed parts of the ship, while in Dressrosa, he just saved his crew. So, what's the issue here?
The idea is that it made Sanji look cool because he stood up to Eneru and, even after getting hit, stood his ground for as long as he could. And the reason he thinks that that moment doesn't compromise either character, but the Dressrosa moment does, is because after Dofi tosses Sanji around, Sanji doesn't really get like a cool moment. He's just kind of defends the crew, and then that's all that happens in Driss's mind.
So just
Because
saving
Driss,
the crew isn't good enough.
yeah, in Driss's mind, the act of saving the crew is not a cool moment.
I don't. I don't. Isn't. It's not even supposed to be a negative for Sanji. So why does he think it's a negative?
Because it's not cool enough.
But he's just saving the crew. Well, I already said. It's a.
But as we see in the post time skip, that balance is gone. All in all, I'd say Sanji came out even in this arc, or maybe potentially negative, depending on how much you value the Sanji and Dofi conversation. Chopper's up to bat next.
Gay.
Usopp's
Classic comedy. Also in the A lists, they said about he posted this in the Pride Month, which is also a little bit more funny.
That does make it very ironic.
I do like a little bit of irony. Hello meme.
Hey, man.
Let me get my phone so I can read what you type up.
By the way, can you guys hear the music in the background?
All right. I'm back.
Can you hear the music in the background?
When you speak, I can hear something.
Alright.
It's silent enough. It's fine. All right.
role in Dressrosa is the only time in the time skip where he's involved in, well, anything really. And in my opinion, I think there are some signs that there were supposed to be more with Usopp in this arc, but Oda decided to drop it as the events and the length of the arc started to unfold.
Now, when he says involved in anything, does he really mean just a side plot? Because well, I'm pretty sure he's being general. Okay, I'm not certain if he's just being in general. He doesn't get anything, but
That's not even true.
I'm sure he's talking about something important, like what he did in Versus Sugar. But other people have had the spotlights, and it's about time Usopp gets something major like this. It's a issue with a big cast, but he did do stuff.
As I mentioned in part 1, we know that Dressrosa is the combination of two islands the Straw Hats were supposed to visit. One was what Dressrosa is as we know it, Love Island, and the other is a separate island in the adventure for the Tontatas. And I would say that in the combination of islands to form the narrative of Dressrosa, that the purpose and meaning of the Tontatas as a group was lost in translation. There are a few obvious connections to Usopp that didn't really go anywhere during the arc. One being that
I find it weird how he says obvious, but later on in the video, he really over analyzes. We'll get there when we get there.
that the Tontatas live on a flora island and are masters in growing and cultivating plants, which is Usopp's specialty coming out of the time skip. Usopp
It's not his specialty, but it's just what he used for his ammunition. Being on the Bowen Islands, it really. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, he could just manufacture new ammunition and the such, but well, Bowen Island plants are very helpful. I mean, better than just using any old what's it called? Pachinko balls. But hey, what you gonna do? And on that, this is a very thin and loose connection because Usopp uses plants. The Tontatas are plant-based creatures. Like, come on, you see the connection? Like, no. Also, Shirahoshi's a princess, and so is Vivi. Does that mean they're supposed to be connected in some way? It's not that. It's not that, dog.
Learns nothing from the Tontatas, which that doesn't make any sense because you'd think that would be an obvious pre-gone conclusion for Usopp getting something because that's what they specialize in. If there's something
I mean, Usopp would have. I don't understand this one. Well, I don't understand a lot of what Dritz says, but he makes a thin connection about Usopp losing plants and them being good at growing stuff. Not even making plants or have strong plants in general, but the Dentados are just good at growing stuff. And he's making a lot of assumptions and associations that are very thin in connection.
in common, then, as a reader, you expect something to come of it. But that doesn't happen. Two, we know that the Tontatas were saved by Nolan in the distant past. This is another, more obvious connection to Usopp that Oda seems to be going for that is more involved than the lost opportunity for Usopp learning something from the Tontatas. But the fact that there isn't anything more to this, and Nolan...
I mean, One Piece does this all the time, where they just, I wouldn't, well, I'm not sure if I should call it a callback, but they bring up other characters and events in the later part of the story. That's usually how world building works. Bring up big or noticeable things for characters later on. I mean, I mean, one thing that comes to mind was with Robin and Brooke versus Black Maria, where well, I was about to say spoilers, but it's been
It's
actually
been long enough.
yeah, it's been like a year. So well, if you haven't seen it, then go read the manga. Black Maria does the illusion thing, and they bring up the O'Hara residence and Saul. Is he gonna say something like this should have been some sort of inner conflict for her in that moment, or something?
I got nothing.
Because he keeps on bringing up stuff with such loose connections. I said maybe, but that might be that might be too ridiculous for even Drizzt. So I'm just saying, the connection is not really there. They just know of Nolan and his ancestor. Usopp had that moment with Nolan, and he opened his eyes. He respects brave men, selfless.
The only connection is they both lied to Usopp care about him and Skypiea. No, not really. The only connection that Usopp and Noland have is when Noland's descendant was telling them the story, and then he was like, he was a great liar. Then Luffy looks over at Usopp, which is hilarious.
Also, there was a moment with Cricket. He said something about Nolan Cricket was helping the crew, and Usopp got suspicious on why someone that they haven't met was helping the crew so with so much effort, and was thinking he was doing stuff for nefarious reasons. But Cricket, I haven't seen this in a while, so forgive me if I get something incorrect. Cricket just says that they're they're his friends and they want to see them succeed. I think that's what happened. But apart from that, He didn't even bring that up. He just specifically says about cricket, not Nolan. I mean, Nolan, not cricket. Why am I getting their names confused? Whatever. I mean, I could just bring up the clip if it's there. Uh, yeah. Well, never mind. Never mind. But you hear what I meant. He was being selfless and was helping the Straw Hats, someone that they haven't even, well, barely even have an. Was it a day? Well, let's say half a day together.
Lore in the arc ends up being heavily understated is it's a bit odd. Last time we had a Nolan conversation going on, it was fully integrated into the Skypiea plotline and themes, and we got a lot of mileage out of it.
I mean, it was a flashback, which is showing how the what's it called again? The Sandians and Nolan came to be so connected, and it gave what's it called? Besides, Usopp doesn't even know about this story, so I don't really know what type of connection you think Usopp should have gotten from a flashback he doesn't even know.
That was not the case here, and I think it's a shame because it could have been used greatly in tying together a better written character plotline for Usopp. And now, it could be that from the beginning that we were never supposed to get more Nolan stuff here, but it's kind of hard to say. I think the Tontadas, without their main purpose being connected to either of those plotlines, which are Usopp-centric, result in them being more of a plague on the arc than anything else. Especially because
Plague. How can he say that with a straight face? Like, they were instrumental in traversing through Dressrosa. They were very helpful. So I don't really know how he could say that. The freaking Robin, Frankie, and Usopp, Toy Soldier, the well, I forget what they're called, but getting the sugar underground, not to mention Manchurie, and helping with the factory. So how can you say it's a plague when they have done so much for the story? And why don't they? And why doesn't he like them? Is what I want to know. Since I don't think he's gonna explain it.
Knowing Dritz, if I had to guess, it's like he sees them as annoying side characters.
Right, they're not cool like Law and Fujitora.
Yeah, they're not big cool guys, so they're annoying side
I don't
characters.
understand how he could say stuff like in the Chopper section where he's list off things that Chopper isn't good and what Law does better, and you list off cool, like Chopper is cool. Come on, dog. Seven form transfer, 7-part transformation reindeer. Like, come on, dog. I don't. He really just likes cool stuff.
the only thing they are good for after leaving Greenbit for the invasion day is to take up screen time and to introduce the dreadful rescue Mancherry subplot. Which, once
And also, I don't think he's going to explain. Well, I don't mean I don't think he won't explain this. We've seen the A-list video. He won't explain any of this. Why does he not like them? Why does he really hate the Manchurie plotline? What's so wrong with Manchurie? What do you think about all the named characters? Because
I'm surprised you even asked what the problem with Manchuria is. Isn't it obvious? She cries.
it's it's most likely that. Wait, he didn't have a problem with Shirahoshi crying, so why Manchurie?
Because now she's the like fourth person to cry.
In the story?
Like in the princesses, because there's Shirahoshi, there's Rebecca. Doesn't he have put up a thing of how many people cried at the end of every arc?
What? I mean, well, he could, but this is ridiculous. I don't. Just explain yourself, Dritz.
Once again, doesn't have anything to do with Usopp, so it does absolutely nothing for the arc.
He doesn't have to do. They don't have to do anything for Usopp, considering that their entire plan was to take down Doflamingo, which is also something Usopp was a 10. But nevertheless, they have same goal, so they would do things together. I think he just wants to. I think he just wanted this to be. What's it called? Not Laugh Tale. Albath. I think this just want to be Albath Beta. Yeah. I think that's what he wants. Did he want this to be Albath Beta, or was he just annoyed that Oda combined two arcs? I can't even say that because he hasn't even explained why he doesn't like the Tontatas, and doesn't even remember that they done a lot for the story. Why do I have to theorize this stuff? Whatever. When part 3 comes out, I better be baby raging over his critiques, quote unquote. Because man, this guy can't theorize. Well, not theorize. Review jack or shit. Doesn't give any examples. He rarely goes into detail about anything. He hates characters simply because they're not cool, which I presume is the reason why he doesn't like the Tontatas. He doesn't like the. He doesn't even like 4 out of the. What is. Oh, actually, what does he think about Jinbei? Whatever. He doesn't like 4 of the Straw Hats. Which, alright, if you don't like the Straw Hats, but they are important characters to the crew, and he just straight up said Brooke didn't even deserve a win because it was a quote unquote gag. Sure, it was funny, but the thing is, they were in
It
a
wasn't
life or
even
death
funny.
situation, Dritz. Come on, I'm still stuck on that. I don't like that moment. Dritz, you don't just do that. You don't say that without me getting mad.
It wasn't funny. It's because Brooke is a gag character.
He's funny.
So
He's a funny
anything,
man.
so anything that a gag character does is automatically bad,
I really
or it's not meant to be taken seriously.
but Nami, Chopper, and Momonosuke aren't gags. At least he didn't say they were gags, and they were about to die.
Well, if they do something, then you can take it seriously.
I've seen it be the case before that the scene where Usopp runs away and abandons the Tontatas and Robin ends up being a jarring scene for Usopp fans. The continuous flip-flopping from Usopp and
Leo,
cowardice can be very taxing as a
What?
reader, and I think people were expecting
I
more from him
actually have
coming
to
out of the
go.
time skip.
Oh no. You gotta go?
Yeah, forgot I had to do something before 7.
Well, balls.
Yeah. Sorry.
Eh, it'd be like
You
that
might
sometimes.
You might just have to redo it anyway, because, like, me and you here, this is boring. I mean, like, Meme's here too, but he has to type, and then we have to recite whatever he says, so.
Meme isn't even typing anything.
He typed a thing. But, yeah. I gotta go. See ya.
Alright. Guess I'll be that then.